How did it feel to be in the ring at WrestleMania again?
Here's the coolest thing about this whole weekend, and I've only shared this until now. I've only shared it with Michelle. It was something happened. Something happened this weekend, and I've been struggling with it since I retired. But this weekend gave me closure.
Wow.
It really did. Like, it was fun. Obviously, it was fun. I mean, you can't, doing this for as long as I have and being involved in that and how important that storyline was and is. But when it was over and I'm running out of the building, I'm good now. And I don't know if I needed, because I never, my last match was in the Boneyard. There was nobody there.
Yeah.
Cinematic. It was, I don't know how you say it. It was like a moment of clarity that I had. Like, I'm okay now. Like, I'm not saying that I won't, I won't do that, something like that in the future. But I don't have that feeling in my chest like I've had since I retired, that I need, I hadn't come to peace with it. And like I knew, just like I knew when I knew it was over in the Boneyard match at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good.
Wow.
Yeah. And it just, I had no clue, but I just knew once it was done, I was like, you're good, man. It's time to flip the page and go to the next chapter. And so it was such a cool weekend all the way around. And then to finish up and then have closure to, the wrestling part of my career. And it was so cool, man. It was really cool. It was a great feeling, and it's just it's amazing. It really is an amazing feeling because I don't have that pressure now that I've put. It's been difficult the last couple of years.
Oh, I know.
Especially at Mania, like even going to a regular premium live event, I've told you this, like I leave, I would leave before the matches because I get so like to that point where I need to be out there. I need to be out there. And so I was out there and, my goodness, what a moment to have, it's such a great storyline, but yeah, man, it was like, I can close this book, man, because.
And doing it with someone like The Rock and doing it on that stage. And it wasn't no offense to any of the other pay-per-views, no offense to anywhere else in the world or anything like that, but to be able to do it at WrestleMania and to be able to do it in front of a live crowd, especially a crowd like a Philadelphia crowd.
Yeah. They were great Sunday night. They were really awesome, and yeah, it was just man.
I was almost worried that it was going to give you another fire to
and believe me, that crossed my mind. But even when I got that call earlier in the week, like, it was different. Like, normally I would have been just like amped and ready. But I didn't really think anything about it until it all happened. And then that's when it was crystal. Like, by the time Michelle and Kaya had got backstage, everybody else had left. Like, I was like, dude, I'm good,
Yeah. Were you nervous at all? Were you nervous about the spot? I mean, it's been a minute since you've.
I was more nervous about having to get where I had to get through the people, everything. Like, and I hadn't, like I said, I hadn't tested the new hardware, and I had a pretty good, it was a pretty fair distance I had to run. And then you're trying to run at 6'8" and 300 pounds and be inconspicuous as you do it. And, so that part was kind of, that's kind of what makes you nervous, because you want to make it as big a surprise as you can.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's, there's easier ways to get to that point, but this was a big effort to get me from point A to point B, from point B to point C, be in the ring.
Well, and also kudos to The Rock in that moment too.
Yeah.
It was perfect. He stared up the ramp for the perfect amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
The turnaround and the look on his face. I mean,
oh, brother, it was bad. We were in 98 again,
bro.
It was.
I felt like we were in 98 again.
It really
I was
did.
15 all over it.
It was crazy. Like, and you could tell as huge a megastar as he is now,
he's a wrestler.
He's a wrestler, and he was in his element. And you just can't, doing movies and doing different things like that, you cannot replace the feeling of having 72,000 people,
boo you or cheer
hate
you.
you, but the energy that you're receiving from that, man, it was so much fun.
And you're standing in that ring, and the look that both of y'all had on, I mean, it was so perfect. It was old school. It was 1998. It was Attitude Era. It was pro wrestling at its finest in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Just in that moment. There was one move that happened, but yet there was everything that pro wrestling is supposed to be was in that moment right there. And then the other part to it all that I don't know if anybody is even thinking about, and we're going to go ahead and give credit to First Form for this. Brock doesn't have a belt on, and you grab him to choke slam him, and you got him up, and you went, and you could see where you went to grab the pants, and there's no
belt or anything.
You're nothing there
to
grab, and I don't even know if you realize this. I don't even know if you've noticed that or anything, but you just put the hand on his back at that point, but you got him up pretty good, and which I thought was pretty dang impressive.
He's pretty solid. He's pretty dense.
I would imagine.
But yeah, you just, it was fun. I mean, it just was. It was just like a little flashback, and he was really just all my dealings with him, that night, and he was so gracious, and I just sensed that he was just happy, like being involved in that again.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's one of the most, he's probably the biggest movie star out there. I would have
right now. I mean,
right? But you could just tell he was in his element, and he was so kind and gracious to everybody. Man, it was really, it was good to see. And man, it was just overall, man, what a great weekend.
What was the backstage like after that match?
It was kind of, it was a little like a little crazy, because we were all in different places, and we were all trying to converge back to the gorilla position. I had to, I was on the other end, and then had to get a cart and bring me around the other way. And, everybody's coming back at different times, but man, there was a lot of really emotional moments, backstage. You can imagine, Roman coming back, and after just what an amazing run as champion.
Yes.
And it really, if you look at it and put it in today's, today's market, what a phenomenal run. It's not going to go down in the record books as the longest world title run.
I think it's the fourth longest.
Yeah. Third or fourth.
Yeah.
But when you look at it in actuality, with as much coverage, as much media, as much exposure that you have now, I mean, you have to go back to some of like Backlund's run and Hogan's early run. They didn't have social media. They didn't have as much live TV.
Can we also say that they had jobbers that they were wrestling a lot of times as well?
Well, yeah, or they didn't wrestle at all on TV.
Every time Roman wrestles, he's wrestling another superstar.
Yeah,
he's wrestling another person that is a main eventer every single time he wrestles. Yeah. So,
but to be able, the biggest part of that is to be able to maintain and keep the people's interest in that storyline for that long. Best
storyline really we've seen in years.
Absolutely,
oh my gosh,
absolutely. There were so many layers to it. But kudos to him and everybody that worked on all of that, because that's difficult to do. Yeah, really difficult to do and do well. And that was there was some really, really good storytelling involved in that. And
yeah, it was. I think that I'm gonna not go out on a too big of a limb here, but I feel like wrestling's back, man.
It used to be in wrestling, everybody was you're always worried about getting screwed somehow, right? I mean, it's in your nature, ingrained in your nature, especially us old timers, right? It's just like, promoter's trying to screw me. This guy's trying to, he's trying to screw me over, make me look bad. That's just the way you're brought up, or the way, back in the day. And I don't think it's so much that anymore. I still think there's some of it, but for the most part, I don't know that they feel like they got it in for me, or it's just like I saw something. It was a comment. Somebody asked Triple H a question about other talent from coming in from other places, and it was so true, but I'd never heard anybody really say it. Is like, like there was a lot of time when guys came in from back in the day, when the guys came in from WCW and were big stars in WCW, and not such big stars when they got to WWE.
We saw
of course, people are always wanting to point the fingers at, like, well, there was this vendetta against this, that's all. That's just crap. That's not. If you draw money, you're going to be, now you have to, obviously you have to be put in the situation to be able to draw money, but you also have to be able to, you have to work within that WWE frame of mind.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think that he was trying to say, was just because that you were a big star there, a big star here, doesn't mean that you're going to fit into the system. You're going to fit into the WWE system without a little bit of acclimation time, and that's what most smart marks they don't get. They think, he was this huge star at this company, but now, WWE's
God has had it out for him.
Yeah. Why on earth this is the stupidest thing you ever heard. Why would you even waste anyone's time just to bring them in to hold them down?
And the money that you're going to spend by doing that as well
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You don't bring people in to hold them down. You bring people in to make your product better.
If you can make money, you can draw money.
Yeah.
Look at Booker T.
Yeah. He came from, he came from WCW, and you look at his WWE resume, it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think if people were as actually smart as they thought they were, sometimes it would be. I'm going to get on a whole nother tangent. My daughter got her one of those big, thick, heavy magnets you throw in the rivers and the lakes.
Please tell me she put it on you.
She wanted to.
You wouldn't let her?
No, I didn't. I mean, this is like when I first got home from the hospital.
Oh, well, you were in a position to where she could have probably done whatever
anything she wanted, and been fine, because I couldn't move really. But yeah, she was like, "Can I try this?" I was like, "No, you cannot try this." I was like, I didn't know those things. I mean, those things they're strong. They're super strong.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They pull my knee apart or whatever.
She won't be able to get it off of you.
Right? That's like, come on, man.
For everyone out there that thinks that Mark rules the roost at his house,
Bro, I'm so down the totem pole at my own home.
Oh,
It's crazy.
I know.
That's why I was such a tyrant when I was on the on the road.
It's hilarious. You go over there and it's a bad. You don't know what Kaya's got lined up to mess with you. Cole's running around. Michelle's.
She didn't quite grasp. She didn't quite grasp the April Fools. Like, April Fools is like you play a trick on somebody.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't. We've been moving and moving into the new house and all that. Well, she found one of my old yearbooks.
Okay.
From high school.
Oh, wow.
And I had a friend in high school.
How big of a stone template was that? Was it just...
Look, just because you went to school like Little House on the Prairie where like all 6 grades were in one room.
You hold on, first of all, you at like Texas is like this different than South Carolina when it comes
It's
to...
a lot different there's a big difference from like West Texas to a booming metropolis, the 3rd, 4th largest city in the country, Houston.
Well, I mean,
come on, man. So anyway, I had a friend who was a girl. Wasn't a girlfriend, but it was a girl. It was a friend.
Okay.
Anyway, she wrote me this long, full-page note.
Oh, yeah.
Had a bunch of very flattering things to say.
She wanted to be a girlfriend. It sounds like.
I mean, really. I mean,
Star basketball player.
no, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just
anyway. Well, she
those
finds
red
the,
locks.
flowing red locks.
That was back whenever it was real.
It was
hair.
real. It wasn't this tie on stuff back here. Anyway.
All right, your high school love.
Anyway, so she wrote me this long letter, right? And it was very expressive.
Yeah.
And, all these nice qualities about me. Well, Kaya just thought, she just knows mom.
Yeah.
And like me and mom are married. That's what she knows, right?
Yeah. She doesn't know anything else.
No.
Yeah.
So she's reading this, right? And she is just like, and then, this friend of mine, she called me Bo, right? Bo.
Oh, Bo.
Yeah, like D-Bo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So before we say anything else, it's kind of like Debo without the D on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You have no D.
All right. So
all the Bo.
So anyway, she just thinks that this is the greatest thing ever, right? So on April Fool's Day, I wake up and usually first thing in the morning I go in, go get a drink of water, whatever.
Yeah.
I open the fridge, and there's the note. She's got it copied, right? And it's hanging in there. So from there, then I go to make a cup of coffee. Well, on the coffee machine, she's got the girl's picture.
She's got her picture.
Yeah, she got it out of the yearbook, and then they blew it up.
Yeah.
So I went from there. I go into my closet, get dressed, open up my drawer, get something out. There's the note again. I get ready to. I had to go into the office to do something. Right. My desk is glass, so there's one. The note is on top. I take the note off, and then she had taped on the underside the picture.
Oh my God.
She had each drawer had a note or a picture in it.
She went all out.
Oh, she went all out. And then I go to work out. So I walk over to the gym. On the glass door of the gym. There's the note. On the other side is the picture. This went on all day long. I had to go somewhere. I had my truck. My truck was full of pictures. And I'm just like, so of course, I'm like, you had help doing this, right? Michelle, wasn't me. I just ran. I may have printed some things, but that's about it.
Just whatever Kyle wanted.
So it's, I don't know. It's about 11 o'clock, 11:30 that night. I'm getting ready to go to bed. Of course, everybody else has been asleep for a couple hours now. Go pull back covers on my bed. The whole side of my bed is covered in pictures and notes. It's just a typical day at my house.
Yep. I get no
slack. There's zero slack given at my house. I am the recipient of all jokes and everything.
It's never ending.
It never ends. Never, ever,
No.
ever ends.
I watched the WWE biography about Yoko. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I learned a lot about him in that documentary. And
Talking about a good dude, man. He was, man.
Yeah,
He's a good dude. I enjoyed, man, and I enjoyed working with him. And he was just so. He defied what your eyes could comprehend.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody that size should have been able to do the things that he could do when he first came up. It was just like, there's no way he can move like that. And he sure could, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he could throw the, well, Sean calls it sweet chin music, the super kick. Some people call it a savate kick. I mean, he could just flat out get it up there, man. He was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Do you feel like with him that he felt maybe obligated to be that size? I mean, like for that character, like it was almost a.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he was when he came in, 420 or something like that. But at 420, he could still move like a cat.
Yeah.
I think it was just he got over making money. I think just our excessive lifestyle.
Yeah.
Kind of caught up a little bit. I think more so than anything. I mean, I was living in Nashville, and we were having a show in Nashville, and he shipped a cooler. I don't know what's the big ones.
It's like a 45 quart or something.
It was huge.
Yeah.
He mailed from L.A. He lived in L.A. He mailed a cooler to me full of turkey tails. Have you ever had turkey tails?
No, I don't even know what a turkey tail is.
It's the ass of a turkey. But so there's just a minuscule amount of like meat.
Okay.
The rest of it's just fat.
Okay.
And he shipped this to my house. So we worked I lived in Nashville at the time. We worked in Nashville. And then after the show, everybody went to my house, right? The whole BSK is represented, right? So my house was built on the side of a hill. Like my backyard just went.
Yeah.
So we're sitting on the back deck. You got something to do?
No. I'm getting a message come through.
Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt. But anyway. So you got this cooler full of turkey tails, turkey okole. And he grills them up. And I kid you not, inside the cooler was a thing of mayonnaise like that.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's grilling these turkey tails up, and they're dipping them in mayonnaise, and they're eating them, and they're throwing the bones off the back of my deck. It's just nothing but turkey fat. Does it taste good?
I would imagine.
Oh my gosh.
I'd imagine it's amazing.
Even with the mayonnaise on it. And I'm not a mayonnaise guy, but I mean, it was just like, yeah. So that kind of, that kind of diet is not real conducive to
longevity,
staying lean or keeping your weight down. But wow, what a good dude.
And the documentary was very positive light too, in the sense of how his he seemed like a very nice, positive guy, fun loving, in the locker room, and it seemed like a family man. And I mean, it was
he was a good dad, and He didn't like waiting in lines, though.
I don't like waiting in
No.
lines
Yeah, he didn't wait in lines.
for anything.
No. We just fall right in behind him. We go up to I remember being. I think we were up in Moncton or somewhere up in far east Canada,
Yeah.
and we're waiting to get. There was a big long line out the bar. And he was like, "Nah, Marcus,
Let's go.
this line." we just walk right through it, and bouncers would be like, "Well," just watch each one of us walk by.
I mean, you got to think about it. At the time, you're what, 6'8", 320?
And this is all of us.
All BSK?
All of us are there.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to say?
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, you got Yokozuna, you got Rikishi, you got the Godfather, you got the Godwins, Savio, Brian Adams, and myself. All walking into the bar. They're just like, yeah, let's just go ahead, let them guys in.
Yeah, there's no bouncer that's going to stop.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, it ain't
That
worth
crew.
it. Yeah, that $15 an hour, whatever he was making that night, wasn't worth.
It wasn't worth
No.
the money.
No, not at all. Oh my goodness! I remember one night I think we were in the Philippines or something like that. Now you know it's a good night back then when the Godfather would get up on stage and sing the blues with a band. Like, dude, he'd hit a blues note, and man, he'd get up there.
Can he sing?
The blues? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good, right? And this particular night, we were in this high-rise hotel, really nice, real bougie hotel, and they invited us up, and and we weren't rowdy, like we weren't. I mean, we weren't like really boisterous, like we weren't messing with people. We weren't, we were spending a lot of money on booze, as we always did. We all may or may not have come out of our shirts, but I mean, it's hot in the Philippines.
Including Yoko.
Yeah, all of us. Yes. Yeah, it's scary, right?
Yeah.
And Godfather up on stage singing the blues.
Shirtless.
Yeah.
Barrel chested.
Just big barrel sweating. Like it was, but.
Did he have the hat on?
He did have a hat on. I'm pretty sure he had a hat on. And, they had roped us off a nice little section, and we stayed in our section and didn't mess with anybody.
Okay.
And I mean, I could probably say we probably spent as much money as the rest of the entire bar spent. I mean, they asked us not to come back. But I don't know why. I mean, we didn't beat anybody
Y'all were
up.
destructive. I mean, all the stories I've ever heard from any of the guys that's in BSK, it was your tight knit group. No one else was essentially. I mean, people would come hang out with you, but this is y'all.
Yeah,
you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
Carving out a corner of a bar, and just drinking, having a good time.
Yep.
And I would imagine typically if there was someone invited, they were maybe of the opposite sex, and maybe
there's no pictures.
No, just good conversations is what it is. So the celebrity wing would be Snoop, Kid Rock, and Jelly Roll would fall in there.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's
the three solid members right there. I tell you what, Morgan Wallen's pleading his case.
Okay. I can't have everybody throwing chairs now. I can't,
Hold on, you can't have it. Do you not remember Godfather in Savannah? Well, you don't remember.
I remember everything that happened that night.
He threw some chairs that night.
Maybe I don't remember everything then.
Yeah,
what did he throw chairs for?
It was at the end of the night, and he, I'm trying to get you guys out of there, and there's me and my brother and Andy, and we're trying to get you guys out, and all of a sudden you got Godfather over here folded chairs, and he throws one across the room, and I was like, Bear, what are you doing, man? oh, and some type of gibberish come out his mouth, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, we're in the car, and
weed's the best thing that ever happened to him.
And he's yelling at you. You're in the back seat.
Why y'all put me in the back? I'm
Bro,
the tallest one of all of us.
Bear got in the front. The funniest part was Bear got in the front. You get in the back, and he leans the seat all the way back.
He ain't right, man.
So, yeah, that's alcohol for you. It brings out great times. No one talks about the good times of sitting around sober and,
That's true.
chatting about politics. That's
we don't chat about
that's
politics.
no fun. So, thank you, Happy Dad. Cheers to BSK.
BSK.
Man. Yeah, cheers to your boys there. I think it's been kind of documented now how much Bray, like, of a fan you are of Bray Wyatt and that character and what he did. And
yeah, he really was kind of a visionary in the sense of how he thought outside of the box, and I brought that up during the panel. Is he definitely, there was nothing cookie cutter about Bray.
Yeah.
And it was it was a lot of fun, and it was really important to me. Like, I was honored when they called me and said, "Hey, do you want to narrate this?" And I was like, "Absolutely, 100%, I want to do it." And just wanted to make sure that the family was happy with it. And
yeah, that bears a lot of weight to do
and it's
something
still,
that's important.
Yeah, and that's still, everything's really still fresh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not been
You
that
can see
long.
it in his dad.
Yeah, it's taken its toll on the whole family. Michael, Mike. It's tough. I couldn't imagine. What that pain feels like, and to know that it is still so raw. You just want to make sure that you do the best that you can.
I'm glad that him and Barry were able to get inducted in the Hall of Fame, and there was some happiness, some joy that was brought to that family for a weekend. You know what I'm saying? That was nice.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job of just being able to, they did that panel on Saturday, and they brought out some of the costumes, I guess, of Bray and some of the characters that he had in his head and everything. The guy that designed those, man, that was in the documentary was there. You want to talk about a guy that's talented?
Yeah.
Holy dear God!
He it was incredible. So one of those statues was going to be the next iteration.
Yeah.
Of the Fiend, and of Bray Wyatt. One was going to be Bray, and the other one was the Fiend. And
post the panel that you were on with that, they took those and they brought them out and set them out like in WWE World for the rest of the weekend,
right,
for people to be able to look at them and everything else. And that part that was really cool, because they had I doubt that you saw it, but they had the Firefly Funhouse set at WWE World.
I didn't see it, but I heard it was there. Yeah,
they had that there and everything. So that was really cool to do that. I believe the Undertaker could have something with the Judgment Day.
Well, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Whoa. Well, I don't know. I think Edge found out that I didn't. They weren't too responsive to an old timer, and I'm older than he is.
Yeah, but it just, man, is it a? We talked about the whole like Bray Wyatt going to the throne to get permission to go, kind of fight or whatever. I feel like there's a storyline that could build around that. Or I don't know. I just see them being that they're dark, especially Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, right?
Yeah.
They just have that like look and feel about them to where I'm like, man, they fit in that almost a new age ministry of darkness type of look and feel.
They always get the sense, though, they're always like one incident away from just blowing completely up.
It is literally like they are just one thing away.
Right?
They are. It feels like
one
it.
big thing away, and they're all just gonna
They're all
go
going to turn
there.
on each other
Yeah,
and beat each other up. And R-Truth may be the one that makes that happen for them.
How about R-Truth? How entertaining is he?
Dude's like 90. And
He
he's out
needs
there.
his own show. He needs his own. I would watch. I don't watch much regular TV, but they need like an R-Truth variety show or R-Truth comic. He is so funny.
I want more than anything, because we've been talking about getting guests on here more and bringing
Right.
more guests on. I want R-Truth to come on here, and I just want him to think. I want him to be like think he's on Stone Cold's podcast for 2 years. Drinking Stone Cold's beers and everything else. Like, he
is so entertaining.
and he's so good in the ring too. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he just everything that he does it with purpose. He's having fun with it.
Yeah.
He's at an age now where he's not going to do anything unless he's going to have fun with it. Probably, he's just at that point in his career where I feel like he's like, if I'm not going to have fun today, there's no reason for me to go do it. So he's just decided I'm going to lean into having fun.
Yeah.
And man,
he's just it's just a great mix, because especially with Judgment Day, because they're kind of heavy and dark, and then you have this complete oddity that gets intertwined in their story that just makes them so frustrated. It's so good. It really is.
And I don't know if you saw Raw the next day, but they come out there and they're, Damian Priest and Rhea, they're holding up their belts, and it's a very serious moment. And all of a sudden, R-Truth out of nowhere, he's there holding up his new
tag team belt, right?
And then you've got him with Miz, who, also is a character in his own right.
What an unlikely duo those two are, right?
Yeah, it is. And I think that's the one piece of WWE that might be the only thing that I'm like, if there's a weak link, is it the tag teams? Is the tag team division the link that is maybe not the strongest for WWE?
Well, you had. I mean, for forever. I mean, you had the Usos, which were head and shoulders, and now they're on their singles career now. So I don't think it won't be that way long.
Yeah, even if it is, I mean, as the casual fan here, I may be just mistaken, but I just, from the outside looking in, even at Mania, it felt like with the tag team matches and stuff, they had to bring in ladders and they had to bring in tables and all this stuff, which is, I'm a little bit more of a traditionalist when it comes to that stuff. I don't need those things necessarily to have a good tag match.
Well, I think that was kind of a little
ECW.
Playing kind of homage to the triple threat matches that like the Dudleys and Edge and Christian and the Hardys had.
Which you're in Philadelphia, home of ECW, so it is pulling some of those elements. That
I'm sure that's where that was.
Yeah.
But I have total confidence that they will, that they'll get that figured out as well.
I think Triple H is going to easily figure that out if it is the weakest point of the product. And I don't know how much hands-on he has with like Logan Paul, but
I am sure that I'm pretty sure that he has a heavy hand in that and in dealing with.
Logan's good, man.
He is. You know what? I have to give the kid his due.
He's not perfect.
And he doesn't need to be. And that's the one key thing that I like about him. I mean, not only his athleticism and how fast he picks up, the in-ring stuff.
Yeah.
But what I like is that he is not a polished professional sports entertainer.
Yeah.
Because if you'll watch, a lot of times, I use the word cookie cutter, and I'm not trying to use it in a kind of a derogatory fashion, but it's like everyone has pretty much the same formula because that's how they all come up.
Yeah.
He's an outsider that's come into the business with this huge following and this huge background. So I kind of like the fact that he's a little bit of an oddity.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense, because he is an oddity.
Yeah.
And he did that frog splash that he did, to go over in that match, dude.
Bro, he's hitting the lights.
Dude, I told him, I said, I knew you were going over with that one, because you don't get up that high unless you're going to go over with it.
But, he leans into being a heel.
Yeah.
And he embraces it. I thought it was funny. The crowd was chanting Gatorade and Powerade, and they were
Philly. Bro, you got to Philly, baby.
Philly,
they're going to bring it.
Gatorade. I mean, the whole crowd.
Yeah.
And what does he do? Throws the ear up, just telling people, bring it on, bring it on. God, he leans into it.
Yeah.
He's getting better and better in the ring every single time. I'm interested in seeing where the story goes with him. What's his next kind of move? And I mean, going back to this roster that WWE has built and what Triple H has sitting in front of him. I mean, like, what do you do with a Kevin Owens, and what do you do with a Randy Orton now? What do you do with an LA Knight? What do you do with an AJ Styles? You got all of those guys right there could be competing for any belt right now.
Yeah.
Any belt. And you've got still CM Punk that's
on the shelf.
That's on the shelf.
He'll
You've
be
got
back soon.
Drew McIntyre that's got a great thing going with him. You've got all of this talent. And if I'm Triple H, I mean, I'm sitting back. Also, I'm like, all right, I got to figure out how to make this work, right? Because, I mean, I've got LeBron, I've got Kobe, and I got MJ all on the same team right now.
Yeah.
Like, how do we get the ball in everybody's hands?
Well, that's the thing, is you can't always get the ball in everybody's hands.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the secret to longevity, is how to figure out how to get onto that wheel and hang on. Because, there's going to be that point where you're at the bottom, and then you edge your way up, and you have that run, and then it's the way that you try to balance it so that you're kind of up here instead of making the full rung. Yeah, I would think that some of those guys that you mentioned are going to hopefully embrace kind of that mentorish type role. That was one of the big fall offs when all of us left, or I hung around for a long time, but like there was all these guys that you had Austin, and you had Rock, and you had Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and all of these guys, but it almost seems like, we all kind of left quickly. They all kind of left quickly too. And that left a kind of a void.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't enough older talent to work with the young talent. So you end up with young talent working with young talent, which sometimes leads to bad habits working with bad habits. And that kind of becomes a problem. But I think right now they have enough guys that you can take, you can take a young guy that you want, that you're trying to bring up and come up and get in the ring with a Randy Orton, or get in the ring with an AJ Styles, and let those guys spit that knowledge that they have, and give these guys, because you can talk to somebody all day. You can sit down in the dressing room and you can talk philosophy and psychology and all of those things. But until you actually get in the ring and apply it,
you got to get reps.
You got to get reps, man. And the only way to do that is get in the ring with somebody who can, on the spot, give you instant feedback to why you should have done this and why you shouldn't have done that. And I mean, that's just that's crucial to the business evolving and moving forward.
Ric Flair has said it. It's easy to get there. It's just hard to stay.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost been the opposite for Cody. It's been really hard to get there. I mean, he has, it felt like he was almost getting buried with some of the, you know, the characters that he was having to portray and, you know, that type of stuff. But he leaned into it. He did what he needed to do. And now he's come back with this American Nightmare that I think has, it's got a John Cena feel to it when it comes to the crowd. The kids are in love with it. He's got every kid eating out of the palm of his hand. The adults are into it.
Yeah, I don't know if Cena, because like Cena was hot and cold. Like it was crazy. Like one night you go out there, he'd get booed completely out of the building. Cena, yeah, he would get completely booed out of the building, and then the next night he'd be cheered like, and still selling more merch than anybody. But you know, Cena was like, he was. You know, when Stone Cold came along, and he's one of the ones that first made the anti-good guy.
Yeah.
You know, that's when it all kind of started flipping around. Like if you're, you know, you got to be a bad guy to be a good guy, kind of a deal. Or that may have started with me, but I don't count. I don't count me. Some influence. I don't count me. But anyway, but. Yeah, so you never knew it was Cena, like whether he was going to get booed or cheered, because you'll have they would break out, crowds would break out. Like one side is like, you know, we want Cena, on the other side, Cena sucks. You know, going back.
You were
and
getting
forth.
that was happening at WrestleMania as well with that too. Like,
yeah. So Philadelphia, yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, Cody. Well, and you're talking about, you know, we were talking about being the chaser or the like his dad. Dusty was a great chaser. Yep. Right. He was always chasing Flair.
Yep.
Yeah. I think he won the title a couple of times, maybe. Right.
Yeah.
But he was always having to overcome the obstacles. Oh, you'd have to overcome the Horsemen. He'd have to overcome all these different things. He'd lose a loser leave town match.
Yeah.
Try to say that 3 times fast.
And with a few happy dads in.
Yeah, well, happy dads, you're screwing up my dialect here. But I always thought, as Dusty was a chaser. I was a chaser.
Oh, yeah. You were a better, no offense. I mean, the chase for you was much better than being the holder.
It's just, a lot of times, like my character was, I was such a dominant character. It's not like, as champion, like who the hell's going to beat him?
You were an Andre Giant of your time.
Sort of, yeah. But the thought was like, Undertaker's after the title. Whoa, what's gonna happen? And then
because then the other part is once you get the belt, it's hard to get the belt off of a guy like yourself, right?
Exactly.
And it's like who do we have on the roster that makes sense to be able to beat an Undertaker?
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden now we got the streak going on at WrestleMania. We can't change titles at WrestleMania now, and it's like it can be tough there, right?
And same thing carried over with me and Kane as tag team partners. Yeah. Like who the hell's going to beat these guys?
Yeah,
right. So it'll be interesting to see because you're right. It was a phenomenal chase. I mean, all the stuff that he had to overcome and everything else, and it'll be interesting. It really will. But I think he has the intellect, and I think they have the, when you have obviously he has the support of the people. He's got the trust and support of creative. So I mean, we'll see.
I was going to ask this later, but since you just said that, the crowd's going to turn on him eventually. You know what I mean? Like it's
inevitable.
It's inevitable, right? Like we're going to turn on him. We're going to, because Cody does feel like the good guy. He's Dusty's kid. He's the perfect guy. He's the underdog that overcame and won. And now it's like
perfect heel.
The underdog story is over now. He's the only place he can go, in my opinion. He's going to be a babyface for a minute, but I see.
Yeah, you see the heel turn.
I see a heel turn eventually. Because it's got to happen, I think. I think it's got to happen if we want him to be a long reigning champion.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that they will. I don't know that he would switch as champion. I would see. I don't know. I mean, you don't know. I don't know what the approach would be there, but I think he would be a good. I think he would be a good heel.
I think he's got.
He's got heel qualities.
Yes.
He has. He gives me a heel vibe.
Yes.
Like he could. I could see him very easily being smug and better than that. Don't anybody get carried away. That's all work. But I can see it. Like I feel it in the character.
I think I could see him being the rich kid, I'm better than you persona. Mm-hmm. My daddy was Dusty Rhodes.
Yep.
He was the son of a plumber, but I'm not. I'm the son of a champion. Mm-hmm. I changed things. He comes out. Cody he likes to wear the suits already.
Yeah. Well, and he could turn on his daddy.
Oh.
I'm just saying. Right? Son of a plumber. I'm wearing $4,000 suits.
Yeah, my daddy couldn't do what I did. My daddy could never win the belt.
I'm getting hot right now.
Okay, so who was in the clique? You had Nash.
So you had Nash,
Shawn.
Razor, Shawn, Triple H, X-Pac.
Was that it?
I think that was.
I think that might have been all of the clique. And then, all right, I'm sitting here thinking BSK versus the clique. What's the matchups here? If you're going to build a card based off of the two clique or the two.
All right, so you've got Yokozuna,
Yeah,
Godfather,
yeah,
Rikishi, Bryan Adams,
yourself,
myself. You got the God ones
and Vega.
Savio Vega, Fuji.
Fuji's going to be the manager.
Or dual managers, depends whether Paul or not.
Yeah. All right, so if you're going to do a card here of who's against who, like, all right, you got Nash. Who would you put Nash against on BSK side?
I put Nash against. I put Nash against Godfather or Yoko.
That'd be a good match.
So I'm going to work with Shawn.
You're going to work with Shawn. You already called it.
I'm working with Shawn or Triple H. You know what? All those guys could work. Razor could work.
The clique, man. That's a Mount Rushmore.
Those three. Yeah, Razor could work. Shawn, Trips. I mean, they all could work.
God, who's Razor going to work with against NBSK? What's that matchup look like? Is it Bryan Adams?
I guess, yeah. I don't know, man. I've never thought this in my entire life. I've never actually thought about booking a card
With Click versus BSK?
Click versus BSK.
If you're going to work with Shawn, Triple H.
I'm going to work with Shawn and Triple H in a handicap match.
In a handicap match.
Yeah, and I'm going over.
And it's going to be for the Intercontinental Championship since you never got that.
Yeah, I never did. I don't even know if I ever even wrestled for it.
And then, okay, Yoko versus Diesel, man. That's a lot of weight in the ring and a lot of talent in the ring as well. Godfather versus. I mean, you got X-Pac sitting there. You got Razor sitting there. I think Razor. Maybe is it Razor versus Godfather?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the rest of them are going to be squash matches because we got nothing but monsters over there, man. I might have to give one guy up. I don't know.
I mean, the clique is nothing but Hall of Famers too. That's the other problem you got. I mean, you got.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute.
You guys are
We're well represented. We got Yoko, Rikishi, Godfather, me.
Oh, I'm forgetting about Rikishi. I mean, God, Rikishi could work too, man.
Yeah. Hey, the Samoans, they come out of the womb
ready to wrestle.
Ready to wrestle. That's just like some kind of special gene that they have. I don't know. Come out taking a bump. And
I thought at some point during the main event at Mania that the entire family was just going to. So before the match, I don't know if you're able to see it. They were setting chairs up out during the women's championship match. They were setting chairs out up at the entrance for WrestleMania, and I was like, "What in the world's going on?" I honestly thought, and that was for like the orchestra or whatever for Roman's entrance.
Yeah.
I thought that they were going to bring out like the entire like family and have them all sitting up there.
I don't think the stage was big enough for all of them. Holy hell.
I thought that that's what they were like initially doing. I thought they were putting chairs out there for the entire family.
If they had brought them out, then half of them would have had to hit the ring.
Oh my God. There would have been itching.
A bit of melee.
Could you imagine? And even, I mean, God, they could have done something where you may win tonight, Cody, but you still got to walk back to this locker room.
You still got to go back up that ramp, right?
Cody never leaves the ring. He lives in Philadelphia. He's cutting a promo from Lincoln Financial the next night. I haven't left. They won't let me leave.
Man, that's crazy.
Or, I mean, do you just throw a Royal Rumble, BSK versus Click, and throw them in the ring together? I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's interesting booking there.
I think pound for pound outside of the ring, you guys have them no matter what.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, they had some big players over there, but Triple H isn't a drinker, though, is he?
No, he never drank.
Yeah.
He was the babysitter.
Was there ever any, towards maybe early on, was there anybody like kind of raising an eye to him about the fact that he didn't drink?
I don't remember. I mean, he was always out. And
yeah.
He was always in the mix.
Did you, you enjoyed the chase more than you did having the title, or you did?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's so rewarding to have the title and know that the company feels like, you're the guy or whatnot. But for me, it was always much more fun getting right there and then figuring out how they're going to just keep it out of my grasp, and then continue to add to, okay, well, you got to weigh this time. So now we're going to go to a cage, and then the cage didn't work. So now we're going to go to the cell, and we're going to do these different things. But yeah, my character being what it was, it really never needed the title. Obviously, I'm very proud of my title runs or the number of times that I won the title, but it was always the chase.
I would imagine when you're a professional wrestler, you're in that locker room. What's going through your mind most of the time, I would imagine, is I want to win the title. I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy. What part in your career did it become, I don't need the belt. I don't need that. I can look in the mirror and know that my spot on the roster and the people in the corporate, in the building there in Connecticut, they know who I am and they know what I'm doing and they respect me. The locker room respects me. The crowd cheers me just as much. I don't need that title. I'm not as worried now of trying to go get that title. When did that happen?
I think I was confident in that by 94.
Pretty early.
Yeah. I realized that the character was such a special thing that I knew I was early on, that I was an attraction.
Yeah.
Like you said, I was Andre.
Yeah.
In a sense. People wanted to see the entrance and and the tombstone and some of those things. That was what was the character, and the aura about the character was what was so cool. And it wasn't until I don't know, in the late 90s, I guess, then that's kind of when I was like, you know what? I was considered, people would talk about, he's a great character, or he's great. That character is so great. I think probably my ego got in there a little bit. Like I want to be known more than just a great character.
Okay.
I want people to understand that I can go, and that kind of became part of my focus too. It was just something else to motivate me.
Yeah.
I felt like I had command of the character at that point. Now I want to have command of the character, and I want to give these good matches.
Yeah.
And so that motivated me. And especially after I did the American Badass run, which allowed me to work a little more and a little differently, and then it was like, yeah, I want to have the best match on the card.
Yeah.
Which, early on, it wasn't necessarily the most important thing to have the best match. It was the most important thing was to present that character the best way that I could, because that's what people were coming to see. They were coming to see that character.
So there was some progress there that you had, and just some, like, okay, now I've developed the character. Now what's that next thing?
Yeah.
And I think that gets lost with a lot of people, no matter what they do in life, but like they will set this goal out where I want to, in your case, I want to be the best character in wrestling. Well, once you achieve that, what are you going to be then? What's your next thing?
Right.
What if you achieve that in 3 months? Okay, now what?
Right.
And a lot of times they go, well, I'm the best character. I'm good. And just sit back and get lazy.
And you get lazy, you get fat, and the fat pig gets slaughtered.